introduction. Here he is again. Oh! And he flies! Maybe Barry Brown, who's going to let it fly. Brown Jr. all the way. Here's Cotton. How good is this man?
Putting the ball in Brown Jr.'s hands.
Two MVP guys going at it.
Bryce, that is very nice. Oh, my. What about that?
Live from RAC Arena in Perth, it's a belated Indigenous round celebration for the Perth Wildcats as they roll out the welcome mat for the second place New Zealand Breakers. Hello everybody, I'm John Casey alongside NBL Championship winner Damon Lowry and the NBL's #1 analyst Liam Santamaria. We've got two of the top three scorers in the league to look forward to, and regardless of what happens in this game, the Perth Wildcats are moving on the NBL ladder. They need a win. They'd like to get a win, and they can move up the ladder. But if they lose, then they are going to drop down the ladder even further, currently in 7th position, and they'll find it tough against the New Zealand Breakers, who are getting it done at the moment. But there you see how tight it is, Liam, and the Wildcats lose, and all of a sudden United are up to 7th.
A massive game. Massive game. The Breakers, they're in that competition for top 2, coming off a couple of wins. And the Wildcats, as you say, they're 7th now. 7 of their final 8 games are against teams above them, so they're going to have to take some scalps.
How do you see it unfolding, Damon?
The New Zealand Breakers are road warriors. 7-2 on the road. They have no trouble going into everybody else's house, eating their food, putting their feet on their couch. They're not worried at all. And Modi Maor is as excited as we've ever seen him because he has a full complementary team to choose from.
Well, Bryce Cotton, as we can see, what a warrior he has been. Leads the league in scoring at 24 a game, 4 rebounds, 6th in assists. Continues to get it done, night in, night out.
No, he really does. And he's been getting it done against the New Zealand Breakers this season. And yeah, they went down, but they played them pretty tough. And Cotton was a massive part of that. A season high 32 points. He's the league leading scorer, as you say. And yeah, he gave him the business. And they're going to need to make sure that they keep him under control, because usually if Bryce Cotton goes off in RAC Arena, the Perth Wildcats get the win. So he scored well in their first matchup, he scored well in their second, and the Breakers are going to need to keep him under clamps.
Barry Brown, 3rd in scoring at 20 a game. He's been really a late developer, coming off the bench during the season, Damon, but now he's getting it done.
You mean first team Barry Brown? That's what I'm calling. Barry Brown has been nothing but buckets since the season started. He came off the bench early. He's had to start. It doesn't matter. The guy just knows how to finish. He can hit. He got every shot in the repertoire as well. He can get to the paint. He gets the floaters, the runners, and he can obviously put you on an island and go nuts from the three-point line. So Barry, I'm looking for a big matchup between him and Bryce. Both of them guys can go for 25 each.
Barry Brown, he's exciting to watch.
No doubt about it. He's been an elite pickup for the Breakers. Comes in, whether, as you say, Dane, whether he's starting or coming off the bench, he gets buckets. He's a two-way guy. And these are 2 of the top 3 scorers in the competition. Bryce with 24, Brown Jr. with 20 a game, and they're willing passes as well, 5 and 3 assists respectively. Pretty good percentages as well. So 2 of the elite scorers in the competition on display in this one.
I think for the Wildcats, it's more about Cotton getting support, and some players are down on confidence and down on form. Mitch Norton, Todd Blanche will fit into that category. They're going to have to pick up some slack.
That backcourt is no worries at all. Corey Webster's been playing well. He'll get the scoreboard ticking over. Looking forward to seeing what his brother will do. And look at those uniforms, Liam. Wow.
They're nice. And you know what else is nice? This New Zealand Breakers front line. Derek Pardon, one of the league leaders in rebounding, and of course Jarrell Brantley as well, who has been sensational for this squad. I say we should be starting to talk about him as Defensive Player of the Year. Wow. Jarrell Brantley, such a tough physical matchup there at the 4 spot.
Conversation to be had a little later. Let's now welcome in the 4th member of our commentary team, courtside tonight, Greg Hire.
Kaya Wanju Nidja Wajak Nunga Buja. Hello and welcome. I'd like to respectfully acknowledge the traditional owners of the land that we meet upon, the Wajak people, the Noongar Nation, and pay my respect to elders past and present. We are set for an absolute blockbuster encounter. Traditional rivalries, New Zealand Breakers and the Perth Wildcats, and I had the absolute pleasure of meeting with Ty Webster, the blockbuster signed these last 2 weeks, Ty's brother, Corey.
Oh man, to me, it's not about who's better, man. I just love having him here. You know, he's good at his things that he does. I'm good at the things I do, so it's a dream come true.
It was clearly evident the joy that you saw in Corey's voice right there and then, and it's going to be a very interesting matchup between the New Zealand Breakers and the Perth Wildcats. Front line there, Ty Webster, Corey Webster, Bryce Cotton setting the start from the game. They need to set the light on fire. It's a critical game in order for them. John Casey, back to you.
Thanks very much, Greg. Really looking forward to this. Big night for the Perth Wildcats, teetering at 10-10. They're going to play finals. Then the champion starting 5 needs to get it done, as we saw it there. They're going with the same 5 that they had when they went beaten by Sydney on Saturday night. And the champion starting 5 for the New Zealand Breakers there, well, Liapa, Brown, Pardon, Brantley and Abercrombie is the lineup, the same as we saw them roll out when they beat Adelaide on Sunday. Big crowd in the house, as usual, out west. And it is the New Zealand Breakers who control the tip here and will have a chance to come up with the opening score. Of course, this game is a postponed game from earlier in the season because of a COVID problem they had in New Zealand from the 16th of December, and that's why we're seeing the Indigenous jerseys rolled out, because the Wildcats haven't had a chance to wear it at this stage.
That is a good sign for me right now for Perth Wildcats fans, just seeing the first shot go up and they rebounded. Brady Manick, he's the guy I'm really looking at this tonight, Liam. Brady, sometimes you just don't know what you're going to get from him. And if he can get off early, get himself a few shots, get his confidence up, and get himself involved on the glass, he'll go a long way for Perth to get this win.
Well, he scored pretty well against the Breakers, averaging 19 points per game against New Zealand across their 2 contests so far. The turnover there from Pardon. The question, as you say, though, is will he get on the glass? Brady Manick to Sean Thomas. Especially this starting unit where they've got the 3 guards. Need to make sure they rebound well against this tough, physical New Zealand front line.
It's Manick who fires. He's off the mark. And a chance for Harry Brown and the New Zealand Breakers, second on the ladder. Feel-good story of the season after so many trials and tribulations over the past 2 seasons. Last on the ladder with 5 wins last season. Rookie coach Modi Mayor has certainly done a great job to get them to where they are, as Pardon draws contact and off to the free throw line.
Is he the best screen and roll guy in the league? He just might be. I've never seen a guy more enthusiastic to go set ball screens. Barry Brown Jr. gives him a nice pass, and he's got a soft touch around the rim. He didn't finish that one, but he'll go to the line. He's always going to be a post threat with his activity.
He's the best screener in the league, no doubt about it. So quick into it, so quick out of it. And he's also the best pick and roll big defender for mine as well. His ability to show and recover to his guy. He stops the ball when he jumps out. He's been an absolute terrific signing for the Breakers.
So he opens scoring after 90 seconds with one of those free throws. Chance now for the Wildcats. Just the 2 opening shots. Sean Thomas hands over. Ty Webster off quickly, can't get it done. So Brantley puts it on the deck against Manick, just bullies his way down low, adds another 2.
Well, they're going to go straight at Brady Manick. Jarrell Brantley would have been told in the pre-game, you have a license to attack, as Pardon sends that one packing from Ty Webster. But Brady Manick finds it difficult a little at the defensive end, and teams have particular guys they want to target. No doubt Manick, Wagstaff, when he checks in, they're going to go at that position, the Breakers, early and often.
Manick, skip pass, slow variety, got it to Corey Webster. Shot clock rolls to single digits, and whistle on the play as well. Foul's going to be called on Barry Brown.
When they got 3 prolific scoring guards, I was initially hesitant, Liam, to think that it could work, because they all 3 wants to score. Because now we're going to see Bryce get less shots, and Bryce is clearly the leading scorer in the league, but when Corey's doing his thing and Ty's doing his thing, all of a sudden Bryce becomes a passenger, and I don't know if that will affect the team in a negative way.
Ty Webster in traffic, travel. Turnover number 1 for the Wildcats.
I certainly find it peculiar to see him roll them out together as the starting lineup. Luke Travers passed his fitness test. Would have thought he'd take up his spot in that starting lineup. So it'll be fascinating to see how it works out. And they need to get contributions from elsewhere as well. Todd Blanchfield, for me, for one, 3 donuts in his last 5 games. Hasn't hit double digits since October. Todd Blanchfield, they need more from him.
They certainly do. As Abercrombie measures the 3, that's off the mark. Averaged 10 points and hit 37 threes at 38% last season, Todd Blanchfield. At the moment, it's slim pickings for him as Deshaun Thomas from close range. Well, it took almost 3 minutes, but the Wildcats are underway.
Good bucket by Tay. Hey, Greg Heyer, Mr. Silver Medal Commonwealth Game 3x3 guy. I need your opinion on the physicality that they say New Zealand breakers play with. Do you find that physical or is that normal?
Oh, that's normal. That's breakfast for me. I love it, and I love what New Zealand are bringing in. Moody Moores, his aggression, his positivity, it's vibrant, and they're rolling with that. You can see there's a visible frustration amongst the Wildcat staff right now. As Liam mentioned, there is guys that need to pick up. Mitch Norton, Todd Blanchfield, they need something right here, but they're clearly struggling at this very start of the game.
There's a chance for Cotton. Nice first step as well, and putting a lid on it. Good work for there from Deshaun Thomas.
And that's how those guys got to get themselves involved. Tayshaun and Brady Manning, they got to finish up some of those missed layups or just those second shots on the rim to get themselves involved, because Perth's probably not going to run a whole lot of just plays for them when they got 3 prolific guards out there.
Brown to Pardon. Working on Thomas, reaching and almost came up with it. And he stayed with it there, Derek Pardon, and gets his first field goal.
Liam, when do you got Derek Pardon in your all-NBL teams?
I got him. Well, he's got to be on one. That's for starters. Jeez. I got Cooks and Creek as the inside guys on the first team. Kinder and Pardon on the second.
What about defensive player of the year? You said Brantley. It could easily go to Derek Pardon as well. He's playing the glass, he's changing shots.
They're an elite defensive team, no doubt. Brantley, Justin Simon at Sydney leads the way for that elite defensive squad. And Tajir McCall as well for the Taipans. They've been terrific, underrated at the defensive end. It's been really the backbone of their success. We talk about their 3-point shooting and the like. Those 3 teams, it's no surprise they're the top 3 teams on the ladder. They're the top 3 rated defensive squads in the league.
So Perth on top by 1. 4 minutes played here in the opening quarter. Abercrombie running out of real estate. Shut down by Manick. Good defensive pressure. Travers onto the floor. Joins in now. Here's Cotton. Back to Travers. Puts it on the deck. Confronted by Pardon. Immediate impact from Luke Travers.
Everybody in WA loves an aggressive LT. Luke Travers getting on the glass, pushing the ball in transition, and being that scorer, because he's that hell of an athlete that sometimes he can go missing.
Both teams giving it up there.
No change.
Manick's 3's going to be waved away.
Replay centre, can we confirm what the shot clock was on? There was no 24 possession.
Oh, they're stopping this for the shot clock.
Ain't it always the way when you knock one down, too?
There was no change of possession, and they reset the shot clock. Had to get it back in the backcourt. No, he knocked it away. He didn't take lead possession. Wow. Hey! Flick with LT!
I don't think John really was convinced by Michael Akeland's explanation. He certainly didn't agree with it. So the 3-ball waved away. With a chance for the Wildcats here to expand on a 3-point buffer. Deshaun Thomas picks up the dribble. This is Corey Webster, guarded by Brown, who deflects the pass intended for Thomas. Loose ball, Brantley gets after it. Now he's got Barry Brown ready to go. That's off the mark. 3-ball hasn't been his strong suit in the 2 games against Perth. He's 1 of 9 from long range, but he's averaging 25, so I don't think there's too much to be concerned about.
No, well, he's an elite scorer. He's going to get his buckets. That was a mid-range pull-up in transition ahead of the pack. No offensive rebound. It's not really an ideal shot. Mate Mayor wouldn't have been happy with it. Both teams just finding it a little tricky in the early going to get some rhythm at the offensive end.
Corey Webster on the foul line. Caught it deep, and Pardon grabs the rebound. Number 3 for him in that category. The Wildcats lead the rebound count 6-4 at the moment.
And here we go. NBA first round, maybe second round pick next year. Rayon Repair checks in first round. A lot to like about this dude. This is what we talk about, Liam. Just because you're young don't mean you can't be really good. As Jarrell Brantley gets himself into the key and gets himself an easy deuce.
Cotton takes it from Travers, goes to Corey Webster. Puts it on the deck against Rupert. Baseline pass on Manick. Well to control that, but in traffic, just decides to fire. Good option from Brady Manick, who opens his scoring account.
He made something out of nothing. There it was going pear-shaped. That possession and just the ability to turn, square up. Good touch from short range.
Brown lob pass, Pardon. Pass for Rupert, a little off the mark, and New Zealand turn it over for the third time.
See on the replay here, Corey putting his head down, making something happen. And like you said, Liam, Brady said, well, you know what? I'm 6'8", 6'9". I can shoot this turnaround mid-range jumper. I can hit that, so.
Courtside to Greg Hire.
Yeah, very interesting call there by John Rillie, subbing Ty Webster back into the game and not going to his bench with Mitch Norton or Todd Blanchfield and shorting up the rotations as Brady Manick gets a huge dunk. And obviously positive effects, but it'll be interesting to see how those guys respond in a confident manner.
Greg, what's the vibe around this Wildcats group right now with all these changes to the rotations? I mean, these are championship veterans, Norton, Blanchfield, Wagstaff, not all having tremendous seasons, but they're fallen well out of the rotation right now.
You're exactly right, and as professionals, you have to respect that. But at some time as well, one thing that I was thinking about in reflection, a lot of these guys have been superstars or starting five players their whole career, never roll guys off the bench. This is something they're going to have to become accustomed to because, as it clearly says, Ty Webster's back in the game and they're still sitting on the bench.
4 turnovers in the opening quarter now for the New Zealand Breakers. Well above their season average per quarter. Manick puts it on the deck once more. Caught it deep, keeps it alive. Cotton, good option. Yes.
Never fails. Offensive rebound. Brady Manick, good job not giving up on that play. He attacked the hoop, gets his own rebound, kicks it out. Bryce knocks one down.
7-2 run here from the Wildcats in the last 2 minutes gives them an 8-point buffer. 15-7 is the score. 3 minutes to play. Pre-game, Greg Hire caught up with Derek Pardon for a chat.
Derek, a quick trip to Perth. What's the mentality heading into a game against a hostile environment?
Just go out there and get it done. It's a tough stretch we're in right now, but we know this is what we got to do to achieve our goals. So just continue to fight every day, come with the right mindset. It's more mental than anything.
You have the incredible ability to impact the game, rebounding, points. You just have an incredible influence. What's your mindset set straight from the get-go in a game like this?
Just try to stay engaged throughout the whole game. Like you said, defensively, I just try to bring a presence to help everybody stay anchored. And so I feel like that's my job.
It's been impressive. Played in Italy, Germany, Israel most recently. 14-10 at 55% from the field. And significant numbers here as well. 12 points, 8 rebounds, 6th in the league. So top 5 in blocks. Great player.
I love that job. I love his comment about the mentality. This is my job, he said. And how do I do it? I stay engaged. He's not wondering whether I'm going to get the ball or not. He has a job to do. He loves his work, Liam.
Yeah. He's been a little bit quiet over their last few, Derek Pardon. And for me, I think some of that has been the absence of Will McDowell-White. You know, he as a lead guard, a guy who playmakes off those Pardon pick and rolls. I think the big fella has enjoyed Will McDowell-White and teaming up with him this season.
Rupert had to jump out of the cylinder. Travis the rebound. Cotton off and running here. 7-4 the rebound came in favour of the Wildcats. Cotton goes back to work. Scurries after the shot immediately. Knew it was off the mark. Brantley aware of Cotton coming at him from behind. Get it through sets of hands. Will McDowell-White back from a broken finger. Still being influenced by it a little. Nice pass, Brantley, to get Rob Lowe involved. Beautiful pass.
Rob Lowe subbed himself in when nobody was looking. Just kind of cruised down the lane there. Just got a nice little spoon-fed bucket from Brantley. We got ourselves a very interesting game. I'm looking at all these matchups. You got Ryan Rupert and LT guarding each other. This matchup right here with Brantley and Manick, it's just good matchups all over the floor.
Sean Thomas now. Some latitude by Rob Lowe. Helps himself to 2 more. He's got 6 in the game to lead all scorers as we go courtside to Greg Hire.
Yeah, very interesting. I caught up pre-game with Cam Glidden, and he spoke about Matty Mayor talking about holding everyone accountable, and that's exactly what happened that timeout. He went at Barry Brown, he went at Brantley, and he held them accountable. It's refreshing to see a head coach. Not all the times they keep everyone on a level playing field, but that's exactly what happened as we score a finish there.
But Greg, what was he getting into them about? They've been uncharacteristically a little sloppy here in this first quarter.
Exactly right. Make simple plays. Ask Brantley. Brady Manikitson's huge three right there, but told Brownlee, make the simple pass on the hoop. Ask Barry Brown not to shoot quick shots around middle game, as we saw some extra language there. But no, it was pleasing to see him hold those guys to account. That's huge.
A good opening quarter here from the Perth Wildcats. Hasn't been their strong suit this season. Only won 2 of 8 first quarters at home this season, the Wildcats, but they hold sway for the moment as Breakers get an important bucket.
Great vision by Will McDowell. White rejects the ball screen. He always got his head up. Surprised that Modi brought him off the bench. I thought he was pretty good last game, but it doesn't matter. Will is a elite guard.
Jeez.
That could have been something.
So inside the last 30 seconds of the opening quarter, New Zealand scored the first 3, but it's Perth by 6. McDowell White outside. Repair elevates and comes up with the goods as well.
Geez, the stroke looks good from Rayan Repair. Has come back from injury, knocking down that three-point look, and the arc on that thing, it's really improved over the course of this season.
Cotton, penetration, contact, no whistle. Wildcats don't like it. Low lets fly from three-quarter court. And the opening quarter honours are with the Perth Wildcats. They lead at 20-17, playing in their Indigenous jersey. So they had to delay this game because of the COVID problems with the New Zealand Breakers. But smoking ceremony pre-game and all the previous Indigenous jerseys on display in the foyer of the building there as the Wildcats do their bit for Indigenous round. Such a success here in the Hungry Jacks at NBL as well. We've got a good one going here. Plenty on the line between Perth and the Breakers, with Perth in front by 3. Finals implications for both the Perth Wildcats and New Zealand Breakers here as we welcome back to Tuesday Night Hoops in the Hungry Jacks NBL. A little earlier we saw Tasmania 92 defeat Illawarra 89. And the Wildcats will be happy with this good start because that has been a problem for them so far this season.
Perth is doing a great job, great start. especially about Brady Manick and Tayshaun Thomas. They got on the glass. They both got 3 rebounds each. They both scoring. This is what I always was worried about. I know what they got from the perimeter, but sometimes the interior left a little bit to be desired. But they're doing well so far.
Great to get that scoring production. 18 of their 20 points from their import trio. That's what you need. I was more impressed with their defense. 17 points they kept the Breakers to in that first quarter. You keep the teams under 20 quarter after quarter, you're probably going to win that game. Perth, second last in defensive efficiency in the league. So to come out and defend at a high level in this opening term is a good result.
Manick goes back to Ty Webster. Puts it on the deck. Foul going to be called on the New Zealand Breakers. So that's 2 in 20 seconds here to start the second.
You see there the bottom right, the game they played last week. John Riley spoke after that game, said we scored enough to win that. We scored 94 points. You scored 94, you should be winning these ball games in the NBL, but they just didn't get it done at the defensive end enough and through 18 turnovers. So a much better start here in this one.
Just Ty Webster fending off Miguel White. Comes up with his first score in the game as we go courtside to Greg High.
And that was exactly what was said at quarter time of John Riley. Defense, 17 points, be pleased, and now put it on them. And that's what's been absent all year. There hasn't been much chain reaction plays, and just what you're seeing the crowd getting into it as another great contest, and Corey leads the break. But it was pleasing to see John really speak about defense at that quarter-time break.
Here's Corey Webster with it. To score in the game, so you know he's due, and on cue he breaks the drought up to a 7-point edge.
You can get stuff like that in slow transition when you get the stops. John don't probably mind a quick shot, no pass shot, as long as you get a stop. And it's funny how John wasn't known for his defense as a player, but he knows how important the defense is. So I was going to say, like, in that group right there, who are the defensive guys? It's one thing to talk about it, but who are the guys that has defense in their heart? Obviously, Mitch Norton does, but would you say the Webster brothers, would you say Bryce, would you say that they really focus, is defense who they really are?
Well, that's the challenge, because they don't have a team full of those guys. They've got guys who can put points on the board. Webster, Manick. You know, these are guys who are offensive-minded players. So, as a result, they haven't been one of the better. In fact, they've been one of the poorer defensive teams over the course of the season. But if they're going to win these games down the stretch, and they're going to get into the playoff picture, they're going to need to step up at that end of the floor.
I spoke to him the nicest a coach has ever spoken to a ref.
Modi spoke to him nicest a coach has ever spoke to a ref.
Ever?
On time. Barry Brown. And Brown picks up the foul. So his second personal. Had an issue with fouls in Adelaide as well in the last game on Sunday. Picking up early fouls at least. So the Wildcats opened up this 7-point lead. It wasn't as big as 9 in term number 1. New Zealand yet to add to their quarter-time tally, but played 90 seconds or so. Cotton off the mark. 1 of 6 from the field now, Bryce Cotton, including 1 of 3 from long range. Through pair exploring Vodanovic. To Barry Brown, who wheels to the foul line. Back to Vodanovic, who gets a good look, can't complete it. And Wagstaff gets after the loose ball. To Sean Thomas, hands over now.
Great job by Tayshaun cleaning up that defensive possession. Everybody is attached at the moment. As Jesse puts on the Jets and gets to the basket and draws a foul, but these are the stops. You can hear John really screaming out, stop the ball, build a wall. These things have to be reinforced all the time with a team that doesn't do it by nature.
Brantley going to check back into the game. 4 fouls on the New Zealand Breakers here inside of 2 minutes. 2 minutes of play in this quarter, so that's a problem for them.
Big time. We know they like to play with physicality. They're big, they're strong. They like to be physical as Webster knocks down that one with a foot over the line. And it's become a talking point. You know, Chase Buford spoke earlier in the season. He said it was like playing the All Blacks against the Breakers today. And, you know, CJ Bruton was talking about the physicality, the grabbing and the holding after their loss to the Breakers. And here they are racking up a whole bunch of fouls here to begin this second term.
Brantley off the mark with the 3 ball, so still no score for the Breakers here in this second quarter. Cotton showed them some tricks, down low, can't convert. Took it off, Derek Pardon had a foot on the line in the process. Look, we know the New Zealand Breakers have had their problems this season. They were restricted to 5 points in an opening quarter earlier this year, which is the lowest we've seen by any team. Against Cairns it was in round 4, and they also scored just 6 points in the third quarter against Tasmania in round 2. So not uncommon territory for them to have these droughts.
And Modi's probably thinking too, because now that he has his full roster, rotations all of a sudden they get expanded, or sorry, your substitution patterns, they now get expanded. You were used to playing maybe 7 or 8, now you got to try to go maybe 9 to 10, kind of kill the rhythm that you already kind of had built. So I'm not throwing it out there nowhere near as an excuse, but that probably explains the some of those scoring droughts.
Let's go courtside to Greg Hyatt.
We spoke about the bench impact before and what's needed, and a guy like Mitch Norton isn't always going to be troubling the scoreboard. But what you've seen in these last few possessions, physicality, being a pest, and it's what's revered here at the Perth Wildcats culture, their legacy. They've loved Brad Robbins, they've loved Damien Martin. Why? They're absolute pests, they do everything, and that's what Norton needs to do, be a pest. He got an offensive foul before from Barry Brown. He needs to continue that pattern.
Did you see the foul there on Norton as Brown attacks? Greg, let's talk about Mitch Norton for a second. It's been a rough season, averaging 6 points and 2 assists. His lowest numbers for a decade, since 2013 when he was at Townsville Croc. And they've brought in Ty Webster, as we know, here down the stretch. What kind of role do you think Mitch can play down the stretch of this season?
Yeah, it's absolutely interesting in that regard, and he had to play that role there. Happy enough to be, I would bring him in early in the quarters, and happy enough to give up 2-3 fouls if he's going to be playing 15-20 minutes. Like, get that risk, be a pest going up there, really create another turnover just before, but allow him to make mistakes. He's not a scorer, he's not a shooter, he's a bulldog. Allow him to thrive in that environment and change the game just by pure sheer and determination, which he's shown. He doesn't lose his talent overnight.
It's your chance to win a party with Shaquille O'Neal as well in the US. It's a party in Perth at the moment as the Wildcats open up, and it's a very good lead here. 11 is the margin, and it's been 9 points to 1 since quarter time.
Ty Webster said when they asked him, how do you see this working out? What are you bringing to the table with this group playing with your brother, with Bryce? And Ty said buckets and lots of them. And it's almost like he brings another level of scoring mentality to this group that already has scoring mentality in the backcourt. It's like, oh my God, who are you gonna stop? We are that talented in the perimeter now. It's crazy. So as long as they can get play defense and get stops and get out and run, we can see some high-octane offense.
So the Breakers with their hands full here at the moment, just 18 points, including only 1 point in this quarter. 3.5 minutes. Barry Brown guarded by Travers. Lob pass. Here's Pardon in the paint. Nice finish from him.
Soft touch by DP on that roll. Nice physical pick by Wagstaff. And now he wants to post up.
Ball pass. Well done, Brantley. Knocked it down and then retrieved the ball. Goes to the elbow. Lob pass for Pardon. And Tashawn Thomas is going to be called for the foul there.
They're over the limit now, too, Case. So it's going to be free throws for Pardon. So this quarter could drag on a little. Free throws the rest of the way for both teams. And it's a war right now in that painted area. Pardon and Brantley looking to impose themselves on this ball game, get this Breakers team going.
Pardon's been 75% from the free throw line coming into this game. 69 of 92. Each there more than any other player for the New Zealand Breakers. And their conversion this season as a team at 72%. Did that a couple of times in Adelaide as well in the previous game on Sunday, where he missed the first, teasing the fans with a Hungry Jack's burger on offer, and then gave them the shush signal as well. They can make a racket there as Tashawn Thomas makes a statement upstairs for the Wildcats.
Silent achiever sometimes, Tayshawn. Just the way he goes about his business. You might not think he's that aggressive, but he can put the ball on the floor, and obviously you don't expect Derek Parton to get beat so easy off the dribble, but Tayshawn's capable of that.
Brown gets it to Abercrombie, who makes room for the 3-ball, and it's off the mark. Breakers 2 of 7 from long range, just 29% coming into this game as the best 3-point shooting team in the league at 37. To Sean Thomas has the ball knocked away. Chance here for Liafa. He decides to go solo. It's off the mark. Well done, Pard, climbing upstairs with a big reach, bringing it down and helping himself to 2 more. He's got 8 points. And no one has more in the game.
Flop warning coming to Jesse Wagstaff. Here's the replay. Oh, just a nifty move from Thomas on the perimeter. The baseline opened up and he well and truly took advantage.
Seems to be getting better the longer the season goes here to Sean Thomas, and that's a good sign for Perth Wildcats fans. Top 10 in the competition in offensive rebounding, which comes in handy as well. Wagstaff picked up a flop warning on that play phase. As Travers feeds Cotton, extra pass. Webster finds Wagstaff. Didn't want to take the 3, got it down low. Quick release from Cotton, wouldn't fit. Corey Webster gets it back.
Greg, as LT lets one fly. Greg, yo, mate. Jesse, also a fellow 3x3 silver medalist in the Com Games. That's your mate. Do you ever talk to him about the flopping as he takes the charge right now?
I was just going to say there, Damon, I've never seen a worse call in my life. Jesse wags up and flop. I know things that go together, but no, in all honesty, I did have a little bit of a chuckle there as he did get a charge and he's got his hands on his knees. But that's the plays that the Red Army need, and that's what they're accustomed to.
He is going to make the ref make a call, Liam. He's going to definitely do that. He's going to put his body in the way, and then you decide.
He's going to get a flop warning one possession and draw a charge the next.
4.5 to play here in the second quarter. Perth Wildcats with an 8-point lead after starting this quarter with a 3-point buffer. 7th on the ladder, 10 and 10. And timeout called.
It's literally must-win basketball for the Perth Wildcats. I feel like teams, and we've seen case, the desperate team like the Melbourne United, when they come out and they go, our lives are on the line, our basketball lives on the line here, versus the team who's already top 2 or 3, they don't play with the same sense of urgency. So I feel like Perth is coming out way more energized with way more fire than what the Breakers are showing the moment.
Let's get the thoughts of Corey Webster, who spoke pre-game about playing in Perth and against the New Zealand Breakers, his home team.
Man, it's amazing to be home. Looking forward to this home game tonight. Obviously, we've been on the road for a while. I think it was 5 straight games, so everyone's excited to play in front of the Red Army tonight. It's going to be a good one.
Obviously, we don't want to go by the natural one game at a time, but this critical period right now to try and etch up yourself up the ladder. What does a game like this mean tonight?
Oh, it's huge, man. From here on out, it's back against the wall. We got to try and win every game, but like you said, it's one game at a time, and that's how we're taking it, but every game is so important right now.
It sure is, because a win tonight for the Perth Wildcats, who are 7th on the ladder, 10 and 10. If they go to 11 and 10, they'll jump up a couple of spots above Southeast Melbourne and above Adelaide as well.
Every game. Every game for every team. You know, like if it's, unless it's Illawarra playing Brisbane, right now every game for every team has that kind of much-win type of vibe about it.
This season, with thanks to Latrobe Financial, we're giving away a guaranteed $50,000. Get involved. You can enter now at nbl.com.au/legends for your chance to win some of the cash. 50K. Car given away in Wollongong tonight at the Illawarra game against Tasmania, won by the Jack Jumpers by 3. Sam Frolling hit a shot from the baseline, and the man hit a few shots in a row, including one from half court. Drive away in a brand new car. It's not to like about going to the hoops on a Tuesday night.
What a way to start the year.
I went to the basketball on Tuesday night and came home with a new car.
Yeah, left my old car in the car park and drove home with a good one.
Great support from the sponsors of the Hungry Jacks NBL. Rody Mayor's got his hands full at the moment as the free throw shooting continues here. Perth Wildcats get to the free throw line, where to Sean Thomas is 67% this season.
And great job by Tayshaun. He could have just tried it back on D when that shot went up, but he crashed the offensive glass, forced a bad box out, got himself 2 cheap free throws. It's not a skill, but it is a skill to be able to be relentless and go to the glass even when you don't think you're going to get the rebound.
Double-figure lead once more. A little over 4 minutes out from half-time. Breakers with their problems. Brown takes them on. Got fouled a couple of times. Ends up sitting down, but he is off to the free throw line.
He hasn't really got himself going yet, Barry Brown Jr. Here he is attacking the defense who are in rotations, draws the contact. Shot sent away, but he gets to the free throw line. No made field goals, just the 1 point from the stripe thus far. And he was a dynamic scorer. He'll get going at some stage, but not as yet.
He's had 2 good outings against the Perth Wildcats, 23, 6 and 6 in the last game, and 27 in the first clash between these teams in round 9. Both those games played in New Zealand. As we go courtside to Greg Hire.
Thanks, Case. It's just a question for the GM of the Next Stars program, and thinking of Ryan Ruppel, I thought his game last time they played the Wildcats, fantastic, aggressive, and he sort of attacked Luke Travers. Liam, for you, is this a game where he's sort of showing Cleveland's part and slows on down, but a game to show NBA scouts, yeah, I'm that guy?
Oh, every game is that for Rayan Ruppel right now, absolutely. And that was an outstanding return from injury. The 14 points, efficient production in 18 minutes. Had a big impact on winning in that one. Then hit the big shot late against Adelaide. He's a future NBA first-round pick later this year, no doubt about it. It's a matter of how high he can go and can he work his way up into the lottery.
And Liam, as a GM of the Next Stars program, was I just a bit ahead of my time? Would have I been a potential Next Star player?
Yeah, yes. Let's go with yes.
Thank you. I'll take that.
I think Greg Hire ahead of his time in many different ways. So here's Brantley down low working on Manic. His chances in that matchup last time. This time, goes to Pardon, who misses from close range, gets his own rebound, cleans up the mess. He's now got 12 to lead all scorers.
Just relentless, just does not know how to not attack the basket. Good job by him. When you look up now, it's a 4-point game. It's the little things, it's the dirty work that the Breakers are doing to keep themselves in this.
Manic from close range cleans up another 2 for him. His first score in this quarter, but he's got 9 now. Only to Sean Thomas with 10 has more for the Wildcats. Bryce Cotton, 1 of 8 from the field with 5 points. He's having a quiet night as Pardon decides to take them on, and why not? Took the bump there from Deshaun Thomas and gets it done.
Giving him all kinds of problems. Matchup is not really working out right now, but Pardon going to work against Thomas. He's got a game-high 14 points.
Ty Webster hands over. Brother Corey joins in against Brantley in a mismatch. Takes them all on. Off glass, couldn't convert. To Sean Thomas, the O-board for Cotton, who's overdue. Couldn't get the 3 to go. He's 1 of 4 from long range, 1 of 9 overall. Here's Brown against Ty Webster and Thomas. Got past them too easily and comes up with the goods. His first field goal in the game.
Perth is just coming down a little bit too much ISO ball. It's one thing if the shots are dropping, but if they're not dropping, they got to move the ball. As we see a sub coming, LT's coming in for one of those guys. But the Breakers have clawed themselves back into this game.
Oh, no.
Oh, Cutie Benny Hill music on that one.
Timeout, Perth. Timeout, Perth. Timeout, Perth.
Wildcats call timeout here. 1:46 left on the clock. And it's a 2-point ball game after they led by 11 middle stages of this quarter. By 9 in the opening term. They've led for the vast majority of it. But right now, credit to the Breakers for fighting their way back into the equation.
And it's offensive rebounds. It's poor shot selection by Perth. It lets an 11-point lead. Obviously, there's a lot of time to go. It could be a game of swings. But this is how you lose leads, when you let go of the little things like rebounding, keeping guys from getting second shots. And then you got to come down and be efficient on offense.
Let's go courtside to Greg Hire.
Yeah, very interesting. A couple of timeouts ago, we all talk about the Wildcats' tendency to let teams back in the game, and that's exactly what's happened, keeping it basic, play by play. And what you don't want to do here, whilst it's a benefit to have 12,000, 13,000 fans going absolutely bonkers when you do well, knowing from experience, this crowd gets impatient. And when momentum swings the other way, it can hurt the team. And that's what you're starting to see now, a little bit of frustration, a little bit of confusion, a little bit of finger pointing. And so these next 2 minutes are crucial for the Wildcats to go into half-time full of steam and thinking, how are we putting the Breakers away?
The Bin Road Warriors, the Breakers this year, 7-2 on the road in their 9 games. And they've only lost 2 second quarters on the road. They have done a very good job of it, remembering this team went 5-23 last season, playing all their games in Australia. This is Bryce Cotton, who we know is overdue, to Ty Webster. Drew a foul just as he was coming back to earth.
And that's one of the possessions I'm talking about. Just then, Bryce is trying to run ball screens. All the Breakers' case, they switch everything. They back them guys. You don't want to, it's kind of like the jack jumpers the way they play D. If you want to come and run a ball screen, we'll switch and we'll make you have to beat us one-on-one. That time, Bryce eventually gave the ball up to Ty. Ty made something out of kind of nothing, but I don't think that's really sustainable, Liam.
You just dependent on the individual brilliance of these guys to attack off the bounce. They've had so much success during the Bryce Cotton era of the Wildcats of just playing off Bryce, reading him off the ball, running actions for him, possession after possession, and then taking advantage of how the defense overcommits. And right now, we're not seeing quite as much of that.
Barry Brown, good first step, down to the baseline, high arc on the shot, couldn't convert to Sean Thomas, hands over, Bryce Cotton, off and running. League's best at it, this time can't convert. Bogdanovic puts a stop to it only momentarily because Cotton reefed it away from him again, but the Breakers will get possession. 1 of 10, Bryce Cotton, including 1 of 4 from deep.
I think he's a guy that doesn't really worry about his shooting percentage, though, because he's going to stay in attack mode.
Perth by 4, started this quarter with a 3-point buffer. Lowe decides to pull the trigger on the 3-ball and gets it back to a 1-point spread.
They just lost control of the ball there. The Wildcats. Someone's got to stay on the ball. They were rotating off it, and Lowe was left wide open on the arc.
Cotton needs help, provided by Travers. Now Ty Webster puts it on the deck, finds Manick outside, ready to go, off the mark. Travers, the offensive rebound. Wanted the pass to Manick. They come get it back now to Cotton. Busted play. Ty Webster gets the open look and drills the 3. Let's go courtside to Greg High.
One of my favourite segments of the week is Santa's watching as we saw 2 New Zealand Breakers trip up over each other. But another thing would be interesting to watch here, as John really nearly calls a timeout, was Barry Brown Jr. and his conversations with Moody Muir. I spoke about that accountability, and there's an obvious frustration as he shot a floater. As he walked back or ran back, he just stared at Moody Muir like, do not talk to me, I'm playing the game. But it'll be quick to see if there's quick subs coming out now or in the second half.
Who do you think's going to win that battle between Barry Brown Jr. and Modi? I'm going to take Modi.
I have to say, when I was in Adelaide on Sunday with a clash with the New Zealand Breakers, I did detect just a little bit of something going on between the coach and Barry Brown, not seeing eye to eye. They had an animated discussion at halftime. And it's a 3-ball, 1-point ball game here at halftime. So after being down 11 in the second quarter, the New Zealand Breakers have closed it back up to just 1. Halftime, Perth still in front. They lead New Zealand 40-39. Well, they couldn't break free, the Perth Wildcats. Got out by 9 in the opening quarter. It was 3 at the break. They got out by 11 in the second, and it closed to within 1. But they are in front, and we're going to get some reaction courtside with Greg High.
An absolutely fantastic first half by Sean Thomas there. 10 points and a handful of rebounds and led the ball. I guess your impact was that an aggressive mindset straight from the get-go to have on that glass?
Yeah, definitely. And we know that that's like one thing we've been struggling as a team for the year. So I just try to challenge myself to try to get as many as I can today.
You guys obviously had the run to let them back into game. disappointing?
A little bit, but basketball is a game of runs. You can't drag our heads. We still got 20 more minutes to play, so we're just going to keep on fighting.
And heading back into the second half, what will be the focus coming out?
Not having any lapses. I feel like we played good defense for the whole, first 15 minutes, and last 5 minutes kind of gave up. So just trying to stay solid throughout the whole 20 minutes.
Good luck in the second half, mate. 40-39, New Zealand Breakers, Perth Wildcats. Back to you, John Casey.
Thanks very much, Greg. Yes, it's a good one. Stay with us here on the Hungry Jacks NBL. It's Tuesday night and we're having fun. The Wildcats lead New Zealand by a single point. Welcome back to the Hungry Jacks NBL. This is round 15 of competition. Delayed game from round 11 when the Perth Wildcats and New Zealand Breakers were due to meet. It had to be postponed due to a COVID scare with the New Zealand Breakers, so they are wearing the Indigenous jersey tonight and are doing a good job of it, but New Zealand will not be denied here, and after being down big early in both quarters, they fought their way back to a one-point ball game. Really enjoying this, Damon Lowry.
Classic game. So far, so good. Perth came out aggressive early, set the tone. New Zealand clawed themselves back into the game. Nothing, as you would expect, the team sitting second on the ladder, so it's going to come down to who can execute the best down the stretch. Let's have a look at some of the Hungry Jacks highlights here in the first half. As I mentioned, it was the Wildcats who got away early and led by as many as 9 in that opening quarter, but Derek Pardon, he's been very influential. 14 points, 6 rebounds for him. Brady Maddox having a good game as well, 9 points, 5 rebounds. Pretty good contributions. They'd like to get Bryce Cotton involved a little more for the Perth Wildcats. Just 1 of 11 and 1 of 5 from deep in the first half. Very unlike
the MVP candidate.
If you'd have told me that that Brady Manick and Tayshaun Thomas would be the 2 leading scorers for the Perth Wildcats, I would have thought, something's wrong. But that's the aggression they've come out with, and I think that's the balance that the Perth Wildcats need. They need more from their front court. They've got off to a good start, and we all know who Derek Parton is. He's going to stay relentless the whole time, and he will get his double-double most likely.
Take a look at some of the numbers there to half-time, and as you can see, 50% from the field, the Breakers being very efficient, and the rebound count, not often you see the Wildcats in front, but they are leading that and doing a good job of it with 6 offensive rebounds to 4. The turnover count will be worrying them, though. Both teams have 7. Wildcats average 11 a game. They look after the ball better than any other team, so to have 7 at half-time won't thrill John Riley.
Absolutely, and considering how physical New Zealand plays, or as Greg Hire said, it's normal, just defense. But you're right, they got to take care of the ball to give themselves those shot opportunities.
Let's dig a little deeper in terms of what transpired there in the first half. Liam Santamaria is at the analyzer.
It was a good defensive half by the Perth Wildcats. They've struggled at the defensive end this season, but today they've kept New Zealand below 40 in that opening half. And this possession here is a good example of what they've done well. John Riley calling out from the sidelines to stop the ball. Here's Rayan Repair, he's got the ball. And so here's Mitch Norton declaring the ball in transition. Then he calls out and he says, build a wall. So he needs Sean Thomas to get back and build a wall. Corey Webster, everybody get back, stop the ball and build a wall to make things tough. And as you see the possession play out, the scramble is good. The help from Tashawn Thomas there, show and recover, everybody's moving. And then after the shot goes up here, the contested mid-range shot, we pause and you can see the blockouts. Block out here, block out there, and then keep an eye on Jesse Wagstaff as he gets involved to help out and win the defensive rebound for his team. Now that's the good. Let's take a little look at the bad. Where things go awry for the Perth Wildcats is when they don't contain the ball and stay in front. This is what they had trouble with against New Zealand a couple of days ago. You just let this run a little bit here to Sean Thomas. Your job right here is to slide your feet, stay in front and stop the ball. But if Barry Brown Jr. can drive straight to the rim, right by you, it's going to be buckets. So less of that, more containing of the ball and good rotations. The Wildcats are going to have a shot down the stretch here.
Tight finish. These teams have won 1 game apiece head-to-head so far this season. Biggest margin was 8. And we've got a good one going here from the Wild West. Hope you can stay with us here on the Hungry Jacks NBL on a Tuesday night. And of course, part of the campaign this year is that the Latrobe Financial 50K is up for grabs. Here are some of the great entries that have come through so far. Just get involved. Go to nbl.com.au/legends for your chance to win. Hit a half-court shot and have some fun. Come back after the break. We'll have more fun with you. Welcome back to RAC Arena in Perth. The Wildcats hold a 1-point lead against the New Zealand Breakers, 40-39. Margin's been as big as 11, but it's a tight one as we go courtside to Greg Hire.
Thanks, Case. Yeah, it was very interesting, and looking at that first half and reflecting on it, you have to admire the persistence that the New Zealand Breakers played at. You know, they had a belief in their system and etched themselves back into the game. And on the counter argument, I'm not sure if you have that belief in the Perth Wildcats. They played 8 players. Mitch Norton played 3 minutes. Jesse Wagstar played 4.5 minutes. Todd Blanchfield didn't even step on the court. And that's going to be an interesting telltale sign whether they can sustain that for long periods of the game, deep into the game with Bryce Cotton. And we see that 1 from 11 in the first half. And that would be an interesting thing for you guys to discuss. Is Bryce getting these clean looks? We know Ty Webster is an absolute talent. We know Corey Webster's an absolute talent, but they're ball-dominant point guards, shooting guards. And that may detract away from Bryce Cotton, because what we've seen in the last few weeks is a reward system. Corey Webster, Bryce Cotton really feeding it off each other. And 1 from 11 is not usually Bryce Cotton's down, so it'll be interesting to see if he flourishes in this second half, gentlemen.
That's an interesting point, Greg, and that was my initial apprehension when Ty first showed up, but this could be the new reality for the Perth Wildcats. We're not going to see Todd Blanchfield. We're just not going to see him. We're going to see limited Mitch Norton, because he's going to go to his 3 high-octane guards. Bryce, even though he's the 5th leading scorer on the team right now in his half, he's got to stay on the floor and play 28-plus minutes. So the guys just going to have to understand this is just the new Perth Wildcats system that we got going, and let's see if we can make it work.
Both teams back to their original starting 5s, and that's a good start from Deshaun Thomas and the Wildcats.
Beautiful opening possession. Out of the huddle, fantastic execution, and a high percentage finish at the rim.
Over to you, New Zealand Breakers. Here's Barry Brown, who also has had his problems, just 5 points, but serves it up there for Derek Pardon, who flushes another 2. 7 of 8 from the field for his 16 points, Derek Pardon. Shoots the ball, as we know, at 67% from the field to lead the competition.
Don't think Derek Pardon is taking a shot outside the paint. He knows exactly who he is as Bryce comes up a little short, gets his rebound. It's little things like that Bryce will stay engaged. He'll keep playing.
There is only his field goals this game. He's 2 of 13. They both come off those offensive rebounds. The kick out 3, and they're following his own miss.
Here's Brown working on Ty Webster, found a way past, couldn't finish it, but Derek Pardon is there with a clean up 2. He's now got 18.
Exact same play they ran before. Last time they got the lob to Derek Pardon. This time Barry Brown Jr. turns the corner. See, Modi Meyer, when he's coaching these guys, he's winning Cam Glidden hard like this before too. But guys, this is just called being coached. So he goes to Barry Brown. Barry Brown might not like it, but they have to work together as Corey knocks the mid-range jumper down.
Oh, this is a terrific battle between the Wildcats and the Breakers here. 2 teams with a good history. Oh, well done to Deshaun Thomas. Took it away from Barry Brown. Lob pass for Ty Webster. And then asked a lot of him, and he wasn't able to come up with it, but getting in after it hard as he takes on Tom Abercrombie.
Ooh, okay, former teammates. Tall black teammates, Breaker teammates. Thought he should have got a whistle there. Tom Abercrombie. It was a good pass in the end, really, from Deshaun Thomas, and he's getting... Thought he was getting hacked and whacked, but the refs felt like Webster just tied him up.
Yeah, nothing to see here. Tom got the rebound and just kind of cradled it instead of just playing, and they swarmed him, so play on.
Wildcats coming off that disappointing 21-point loss to Sydney on Saturday night. It was back-to-back defeats for them. In fact, lost 3 of their last 4. That's why tonight is so important for them. Their 7th can move to 5th on the ladder if they can get the job done here. And Abercrombie takes them on. This is the new look Tom Abercrombie as well. As we know, injury problems early in the season, delayed start. Last time these 2 sides met, he had 2 points on 1 of 2 shooting. 7 rebounds in 31 minutes. So he's gone from that spot-up wing, knocking down shots at will, to the defensive stopper who brings the experience and lots of nous to the table.
Oh, they've just got so many other weapons, so many other guys to go to. Barry Brown Jr. has spoken about his scoring prowess. They can go to Jarrell Brantley in different spots on the floor. He can overpower smaller forwards in the block or go past bigger ones from the perimeter. And of course, Derek Pardon as that pick and roll threat. Isaiah Leafa, Will McDowell-White working off ball screens. So many other options at the offensive end. Abercrombie, that stabilizing influence and a guy you can depend on defensively.
And guys just have to learn sometimes. You just have to kind of reinvent yourself as different personnel shows up in your team. You can't always be who you thought you were. You can find other ways to impact the game.
What a warrior he's been as well. 15th season in the NBL, all with the Breakers.
Look at him right here. He's the guy with the job of hanging with Bryce Cotton. Not a stranger to it. He's guarded Cotton many times before. He switches on Webster, and this is the versatility, the ability to switch on the 5 now to Sean Thomas and battle underneath.
Well done to Sean Thomas in traffic. The offensive rebound and the putback too.
I'm sure John really said to Brady Manek and Tayshaun Thomas, you see those 3 guards you're playing with? They're going to take a lot of shots. They're not going to shoot 80%. There's a lot of rebounds to be had if you crash the glass.
Pardon talking about crashing the glass. He has the offensive rebound and another putback. So 8 rebounds now to go with 20 points as he closes in on his season high of 23.
Yeah, 4 offensive rebounds for Pardon. And you're right, Manek and Thomas have 6 offensive boards between them at the other end of the floor. 5 make that. Both teams having a little trouble with the blockouts right now.
Sean Thomas spins inside, confronted by Bradley, gets the chop done and draws a foul.
That is some nice footwork, Tay-Tay. Gets the ball, they switching everything, they go inside, 1 dribble, spin back middle, and the and 1, nice finish. Post work is not dead, Liam.
he's having a nice game. He's the team leading scorer with 16, only Wildcat in double digits. There's the 7 boards as well. He's had 7 straight games in double digit scoring to Sean Thomas. Only 1 of those a double-double. But when he's playing at a high level like this, it elevates the Wildcats in a big way.
3-point buffer in favor of the Wildcats. Led exclusively since quarter time. Breakers scored the first 3 of the game.
Morty Mayor called the exact same play during that free throw. Saw him yell it out. There's some Spanish action when they try to get a back pick on Derek Pardon, and Barry can work that ball screen. And he said, we are running this play again until Perth can prove that they can stop it.
Done a terrific job, Mody Mayor. Assistant coach last year, in the running for a championship and coach of the year tag in his first season as head coach.
Hey, coach of the year, like there's some theories out there, Liam, where does the team that wins the champion or finish first, is he the coach of the year? Is it Chase Buford? Or is it the guy that takes his team from oblivion and gets them to second on the ladder? Is he the coach of the year?
That's a long way from oblivion.
That's a long way from oblivion.
Let's go courtside to Greg Hire as Brown fires to 3 and ties us away.
Well, it's certainly awkward because I was going to actually talk about Barry Brown, and there's nincompoops that talk about MVPs 1, 2, 3, and 4. But I want to ask the gentleman regarding Derek Pardon and what he is about. Is he instrumental for their success? Because you spoke about Liam as he gets scored on, but you spoke about him being quiet, but he's single-handedly kept them in this game. Is he critical for the championship?
Oh, absolutely. He's such an important piece to the puzzle. They've got a few guys like that, but Pardon absolutely at both ends of the floor, and he's having a really good game. Struggling a little bit with Tayshaun Thomas. He's got the game-leading points tally with 20. He's a couple of boards off a double-double. He's having a really good performance tonight. Just needs a couple of guys to go with him.
Well, Isaiah Leafa's not having a good time with it at the moment. Had 13 in Adelaide on Sunday, 18 against Perth, but when they played a week ago, and here he is at the moment, having to sit down on 1 of 3 shooting. And just the 3 points. So Perth back on top by 2 here. And we're just going to attend to the floor there after Michael Allen just calling time here. Let's go over 4 minutes played in the 3rd quarter.
This is the luxury that Mody has. Okay, Isaiah Leafa's be quiet. Hey, Will McDowell-White, why don't you go in there? Go get Isaiah out, give him a rest. Everybody on the team, everybody can play, but everybody can't play good for every game, Liam. Like, you might get 3 guys that give you big scores, and everybody else got to kind of just pitch in.
Well, Will McDowell-White is one guy who hasn't really been able to get going tonight. You know, he's coming back from injury and he's got the 3 points, the 3 assists, but he's been a little quiet so far in this one.
Travis, quick pass down low to Sean Thomas, spinning on Pardon, is off the mark. Shot clock expires in the background. Manick, another O-board. Corey Webster for the clean-up 3.
Never fails. Great job by Brady Manick keeping that ball alive. The kick-out 3 by Corey, all caused by the offensive rebounding activity.
Barry Brown takes on Travers and comes up with the goods as well. He's now got 12 points, Barry Brown, including 7 in this term. Out of the 13 his team have mustered.
He's getting going. But down the other end, the Breakers, they're giving up offensive boards. 9 offensive rebounds now for the Wildcats, and it's resulting in extra opportunities that they're taking advantage of. And Brady Manick, he's having a good time out there. 11 points, 6 boards. They've outscored the Breakers by 13 during his minutes on the floor.
Can I introduce you to Bryce, the playmaker Cotton, as once again, pick and roll. Best pick and roll big in the league. But Bryce is playing more of a facilitator role than I've seen him for a while. In this particular team, he can score when it's time to, but he can also attack the rack and bring other people into the game.
Here's Manick from outside now, this time unsuccessfully, and Brantley drags down the board. Perth by 3, a little over 4 minutes out from three-quarter time. Will McDowell-White exploring, feeds Brantley, who can hit the 3 and shows us how.
What a game. What a game. Woo.
31 threes at 37% for Brantley this year, and 37 and above, and you're good. Travis, he looks in the corner and says, I'll have 3 of those as well.
We spoke about Will McDowell-White being a little quiet. Last 2 possessions, he's been playmaking. Found Derek Pardon as the roll man to the rim, then found Brantley on the arc, and then bam, and 1 finish as he strolls down the lane.
Look at the Amy replay here. The kick out, the penetration he kicked to Corey, caused by the Brady Manick offensive rebound. And here's Bryce getting to the key, finding his open man, Brady. And his little buckets like that gives Brady confidence. Not only he can shoot out, he can step out and shoot that 3 because he knows he's already in double figures and he's playing pretty well.
Breakers have been so efficient as well. They're 8 of 10 from the field since half-time, including 2 of 2 from long range. Will McDowell-White, spoke with him in Adelaide on Sunday, coming back from that broken right index finger, and the break was actually on the knuckle of the right finger. Said it was still very tender, still sore, was hindering his ball carrying duties, but he was good enough to go, and they were lucky that he missed about 5 weeks, but only 2 games because of that disjointed section that they had because of COVID. And no matter what he does here tonight, he is still going to be on the improve as well.
And we talk about guys that are important to this roster. Derek Pardon, Barry Brown, one of the league leaders in scoring. Man, there's no one more important than Will McDowell-White. The way he leads this team and from the point guard position, sets guys up, gets everybody involved. They need him back playing at a really high level.
Corey Webster to the foul line. Can't convert. Well done, Wagstaff, working back to the advantage. But Corey Webster ran into Rayan Rupert, and he wants to go coast to coast and help himself to 2 more.
You're looking at the future in Rayan. With that last possession, Corey dribbled the life out of the ball and took a tough shot. And shots like that often lead to transition buckets. So Perth want to make sure, yes, you can go one-on-one and score, but sometimes you got to let that ball do the work.
Here's Ty Webster going to work to tie it away after New Zealand had taken the lead for the first time since the opening quarter.
That's what makes this, the addition that Webster, Ty Webster, Corey Webster, you got these guys on the floor together, get the switch. Tom Verdanovic, he can't stay in front of Ty Webster. And so they recognize the mismatch, give him room to operate.
Oh.
Here's McDowell-White, playmaking once again.
Well, we are in Dunkuary, and Derek Pardon says, yeah, I'll be a part of that because big money being donated at the moment. Another 500 goes into the kick for Australian prostate cancer. As Derek Pardon now with 24, a new season high for him on 11 of 12 shooting to go with 8 boards. But we've seen some great dunks already tonight to feed our Dunkuary program. We should point out that prostate cancer is the most common cancer diagnosed in Australia, and this is all about raising awareness for men to go and get checked. It's only a blood test to start with, very simple. And for more information or to make a donation, you can visit AustralianProstateCancer.org.au. $500 going in. 45 dunks coming in to tonight for 22.5K. And we're adding to that. So full credit to Sportsbet for getting involved and full credit for the players to throw them down.
Good on Sportsbet, because normally it's everybody donating to them. Good to see them donate back.
There's a lot of money being donated as a result of those throwdowns, and a lot of points being produced from the hand of Will McDowell-White right now. The past 10 points, he has had 3 dimes. One of them was for a triple and a 3-point play of his own. And all of a sudden, this Breakers offense is humming, and the Wildcats are wanting to chat about it.
Didn't play when these teams played on Jan 4, but in the earlier game, 7 points, 4 boards, game high 9 assists were Will McDowell-White's numbers. He can get it done in so many different ways as we go courtside to Greg Hyatt.
Speaking to Derek Parton before the game, he spoke about the influence of McDowell-White and said it made his job a lot easier. And we've seen 4 back-to-back plays. And as I was watching that timeout, Rudy Moore just smiled for 10 seconds. And he looked at me and he smiled, and I thought, yeah, I'm a happy guy too. But very, very interesting to see from a head coach. And as we see Jesse Wagstaff try and make a play here, John really, on the other hand, wanted the ball in Bryce's hands. Make him make plays, allow him to be a playmaker. And obviously, he needs to start sparking up to make a difference in this game.
Barry Brown elevates, it's off the mark. Repair gets the offensive rebound and the putback, chance at a 3-point play.
It is so much impressive stuff going on out here, Liam. I mean, Will McDowell-White, how he saw that guy in the corner, how he saw his teammate, he found him. He makes the extra pass, he penetrates, and here's Rayon Repair. You forget about the young fella. He gets on the glass, keeps himself involved. To the strike for the N1.
They absolutely love Rayon Repair inside the New Zealand Breakers camp. The mentality that he has, the work ethic, he wants to be great.
Well, this season, with thanks to MG, we're giving away a brand new MG ZS EV electric car valued at $44,990. You can enter at nbl.com.au/winmg. Get involved. You might win a car like a Happy Punter did in Wollongong tonight. Wagstaff off the mark with the 3. New Zealand with their biggest lead of the game so far as Cotton comes up empty once more. 4-point buffer for the Breakers, and now they're extending it. That's a tough finish.
This is the same Barry Brown Jr. that started off the game shaky, just missing shots. Not that he was playing bad, but he knows who he is, Liam. He knows he's a scorer. You can see him yapping a little bit after his last bucket because he can tell it's coming. And once he got to the free throw line early, as we just watched Will McDowell-White just creating some havoc in the open court. This is some good backcourt play we watching.
They had 39 at half-time, 29 in this quarter, the New Zealand Breakers. They have turned it on here, and momentum certainly is shifting to their side.
Just feels like the game-breaking move here from the Breakers, and Will McDowell-White is instigating it.
Penetration comes here from Webster. Corey tight, Maddock there for the clean-up too, so he's got 13 points in this in the game. That's the margin to 4, a little over a minute out from three-quarter time. Repair, good from deep, this time off the mark, loose ball, clean bowls a couple, came to Travers. Now he's off, it's room to work into Wagstaff. Bryce Cotton wants to take on Barry Brown. 2 of the top 3 scorers in the comp head-to-head. Travers gets the user-friendly rolls, he knocks down the triple.
Excellent ball movement by the Wildcats. Bryce didn't settle. He could have went one-on-one then. He made an extra pass to Corey. Corey makes the extra pass to Brady. I'm sorry, to LT. And LT knocks the shot down. It's just good to see the ball giving life by moving it, not just letting it, being stagnant, being one-on-one. Too much of that will hurt the Wildcats. So that was good ball movement. I'm glad it resulted in a 3.
Just fix the time on the clock here. Inside the last 60 seconds of a third quarter. The Breakers have come from 1 down to lead by 1, and with possession. Will McDowell-White goes to Brown. He's been busy here in the third. Brantley and sets himself from deep. Couldn't finish it. Loose ball. Brantley works it to the advantage of Brown. Shot clock. Rolls to single digits. They lob the ball down low. Rob low in traffic. Feeds Will McDowell-White his triple.
I thought Barry was going to take the 2-for-1, Liam, on that one, let it fly, but he threw the pass to Rob. And Rob made the extra one to Will.
32 points in this quarter is the highest scoring third quarter for the Breakers this season, and their highest ever third quarter against the Perth Wildcats as Cotton comes up short. It's been his night now. Just 2 of 15 and 1 of 6 from deep. On the other end, well, they just keep coming and repair.
Did he just go to length of the court in 4 dribbles? I need to recount this.
And how many steps was it? The length and athleticism of Ryan Repair on display right there. Yeah, Modi Mayor in the background was encouraging him to push, advance, go. This is the team's second last in pace, but when Repair has it, when Will McDowell-White has it, those guys have a license to attack.
When we see what Ryan Repair's been able to do, I'm really shocked that the other teams haven't bought into the Next Stars program this season. A lot of teams have had success with it in the past, but Repair, the only one here with Hook Porty out injured for the season. It's a free hit, really, that they haven't been able to grasp. As Fanning goes three-quarter court unsuccessfully. So three-quarter time arrives here, and after trailing for the vast majority of the first half, the Breakers turn for home with a 5-point lead. New Zealand 72, Perth 67. Come back for more highlights in Hungry Jack's NBL right after this. Welcome back. RAC Arena is the venue for the second of our doubleheader. A little earlier tonight, Tasmania 92 defeated Illawarra 89. And in this one, it is Derek Hart, the New Zealand Breakers, who have come from as many as 11 down in the second quarter to lead by 5 as we turn for home. In their last quarter record on the road this year, they've lost once in 9 road games the last quarter. They're going to be hard to beat. But so much on this for the Wildcats. 7th on the ladder, can move to 5th with a win. Might fall to 8th behind Melbourne United if they can't find a way home. Corey Webster, still undecided. Modi Mayor thought he travelled. Referees didn't see it that way. He gets it off despite the presence of Will McDowell-White.
KGC Webb scoring in the backcourt. That we all know what he can do, but it's going to be on this defensive end right here. The Perth's going to have to really step up.
Need some stops. Barry Brown misfires. 33 in that quarter for the Breakers after they had 39 at half-time. To Sean Thomas from close range. He's now got 20 in the game.
He's just did a good job to keep his feet there. Thomas, well defended. Down the middle of the lane there from Rob Lowe, but Thomas good enough to just stay composed and knock it in.
They score the first 4 points of this final quarter, close to within one. As Will McDowell White peels off a triple.
Where is the Will McDowell White fan club? I need to know
I'm
where
the president.
it is.
Yo, I'm driving that bus.
I want to be the president.
Hop on board,
Lord,
baby.
this man has played 20 minutes, 7 assists, 1 TO.
To Sean Thomas digging deep there against Rob Lowe, who's called for the foul, his third personal, as we go courtside to Greg Hire.
Yeah, it's very interesting that Bryce Cotton started this fourth quarter. I want to ask you, gentlemen on the broadcast, Michael Harris is sitting on the bench and he's a young kid with plenty of confidence. Now, what I do know, when games are tight, hearing from the great man, foofer valves get a little bit tighter. Now, Michael Harris is a guy who has plenty of confidence. Would you sit Bryce for maybe 3-4 minutes and let this young guy try and be a spark plug?
No, sir.
Negative.
I mean, that's the man right there, and he's been quiet. 7 points, 2 of 15 from the field, but he's your guy. You got to play through him down the stretch here. We've talked about must-win game type of vibes. Bryce has got to be on the floor, and he's got to have the rock.
Christmas is over. We can't be just gifting minutes these days.
Gifting minutes might be a bit harsh.
That might be harsh. I'm sorry, Michael. But you know what I mean, Kay.
Yeah.
We just can't just be all of a sudden randomly throwing a guy in.
But he's got a big future. We've seen that already. His Brantley baseline, and he comes up with the goods. 9 points in the game for him, quite by his standards. Season average of 15. But it's a 4-point buffer. Corey Webster goes coast to coast, and he adds another 2. So 16 now for Corey.
Corey attacking the big matchup. Rayon just a little bit too aggressive, not containing the ball, and Corey needs no invitation.
Fans getting involved as well. At RAC Arena always put on a good show, and this does Jarrell Brantley.
Aggressive. Just fakes the handoff, and as we said from the top, he's got a license to attack Brady Manning whenever he wants, and right there got right to the rim.
Will McDowell White commits the sin, Cardinal sin, and Cotton's off to the free throw line for a triple.
I was just thinking we hadn't seen the old vintage Bryce step back, kick the shins.
Oh, kick out.
Actually,
there's a
you know what? No, you know what? I love Bryce's explanation. He says, I jump, my feet go forward, but you're trying to close out the space that I created, and you're going to run into me. So he's not a Rob Rose shin kicker, but he just has that style. He can put his feet out there.
Let's go courtside to Greg Hire.
Yeah, there's a few things in life that are certainties. Bryce Cotton to get a foul on a three-point shot and a kick-out. Dave Beaver to get an extra child every single year. And Liam Santa Maria sparking about the next Stars program. These are things that are paying $1.
Turn your phone off, Greg. You know what's coming.
1-point ball game. Finals implications. It's all happening here on a Tuesday night in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Abercrombie reluctant to fire, gets it to Will McDowell White, who's well off the money, and a chance here for the Wildcats to retake the lead. They have held sway for the majority of the game. Cotton gives it up to Corey Webster. Now wants it back. Shot clock to single digits. Almost 3 minutes played in the final quarter. Cotton spinning on Leafa. Couldn't find a way past. Corey Webster can't connect.
Great D.
Really impressive D. One-on-one individual D by Isaiah Leafa against the most dynamic offensive player in the league. And he stayed in front.
Well, we know he's a great defensive player. He was Defensive Player of the Year in the New Zealand Basketball League before coming across the ditch to the NBL. Shout out to the New Zealand viewers who are watching tonight. Well past my bedtime, and they're hanging in there. Why wouldn't you when it's 79-78 with 6:46 to play?
You definitely don't want to miss this last 6:46. Modi made the call. He had to take Rayon out. Rayon's a good defender, but he sometimes can be a little over-aggressive. And when you guard those little bitty quick guards, Liam, we might need, that's why he went back with Isaiah Leafa. Somebody that stature, he could probably stay down low in his stance and move his feet a little bit better than Rayon.
Just someone that couldn't go with you when you and your championship-winning days, Damon?
You know who I was most worried about back then is Ty gets into the act. D-Mac. I think D-Mac would let me go around him just so he could try to steal the ball. he was always looking over your shoulder with him.
Fastest hands in the business. What a superstar Daryl McDonald was. Harden kicks it outside Liafa. He's overdue in terms of points tonight. 1 of 3 from the field. Goes to Parden. Double team arrives. Wagstaff slapped it away from him, but is going to be called for the foul. First foul on the Wildcats in this final quarter. The Breakers have 3.
It's a good example there of the right decision, but not the execution. Prior to that, the pass from Parden to Liafa into the corner. He was the right man, he was the open man. But the pass not where it needed to be, and Liafa couldn't get it off. Ty Webster, he's 1 foul away now from fouling out of the game.
Here's Barry Brown. 14 in the game for him after a slow start. Scoreless in the first quarter, 5 at halftime. Hasn't scored in this period either. And fans don't like it, but they're going to get it back, the Breakers, with 1.7 on the clock. And it was an issue that we highlighted when Ty Webster came back into the NBL, that he can be foul prone. 8 times in his last full season in the NBL, the most of any player in 2021 when he was with the Breakers. The Wildcats with a 1-point lead, and contact off the ball here between Brantley and Wagstaff. So 4 fouls on New Zealand now, with a lot of time on the clock.
Now it gets interesting. This is my favorite part of the game when it's tight. These last 5 to 6 minutes, because this is when execution has got to be at its highest, and the team that makes the least amount of mistakes win is Wagstaff. Just the ever cagey Wagstaff sucks Brantley in for a foul. But now we got to see execution, Liam, and see where we're going to go to.
Corey Webster with it. Shot clock works to 10. He wants to take Liafa on, gets by, and draws a foul. So that's 5 on the Breakers now. With 5.5 to play, here come the free throws.
Webster's been giving him trouble off the bounce with 16 points, 50% from the field. And here now, his first trip to the free throw line. Meanwhile, Barry Brown Jr. subbed himself out of the game. Said, you know what, I need a rest. Launched a couple and was starting to feel a little fatigue. So McDowell White comes back in as Brown Jr. catches his breath.
I'm a Barry Brown Jr. fan, but I'm not a fan of subbing yourself out. You can't do nothing over there on the bench. But here's where you don't want to be, Liam. You're in the bonus, you're the New Zealand Breakers, and now you got 3 prolific scoring guards that know they can just get to the foul line. Now we're going to see some heavy ISO basketball now, I think.
Great work from the Perth Wildcats here after they were down 5 at three-quarter time. They've opened up a 3-point lead to 7 points for the New Zealand Breakers here in almost 5 minutes. And from close range, Brantley adds to his talent.
That's the kind of mismatch we're talking about. A bigger, slower guy in front of Jarrell Brantley. He's going to go straight by that dude. Got right to the cup.
Brantley was 6 of their 9 so far in this quarter. To Sean Thomas in traffic, needs help, retreats. Webster feeds Maddock, bobbled the pass. 5 on the shot clock, steps beyond the perimeter, can't get it done. Chance for the Breakers here. Inside the last 5 minutes, Perth by a point, whistle on the play. Now going to be called on the Perth Wildcats.
Great ball screen by Derek Parton. These random ball screens in transition. Defenses have to be ready, make up your rules. What are you going to do late in games?
Will McDowell White with it.
Here it comes again.
Now they've got the mismatch to Sean Thomas with a tight Maddock. Well, the pass for Parden didn't do him any favours. Turnover number 11 for New Zealand. Perth has 8. It's a good fight back from them because they had 7 of those at half-time and really looked after the ball and valued it since half-time. As Will McDowell White feeds Parden, kicks to Liafa, who's overdue in the corner, gets it done.
Great basketball. Derek Parton, my man, knew as soon as he caught that ball where Isaiah Liafa was in that corner, made that extra pass.
And importantly, he put it right in the shot pocket. Shooter caught it exactly where he wanted it, and he knocked it down.
Bryce Cotton lost control under pressure there. Ball goes out of court. Breakers will get it back here with a 2-point lead. draw a foul on Liafa, losing control of it. Inside 4 minutes to play.
He's doing an outstanding job defensively, Isaiah Liafa. Bryce Cotton, it's been tough. 2 of 15 from the field, 10 points. But in these big moments in the fourth quarter, he can't shake loose from Liafa.
McDowell White exploring, had Pardon initially, turned down the passing lane, decided to fire himself, couldn't get it done. Now Ty Webster, Cotton to his left, Corey to his right, hands over to his brother. Isolated against McDowell White.
One-on-one basketball.
Shot clock to single digits. Travers puts it on the deck against Will McDowell White, who stayed in front of him, did it well, and got the rebound.
Interesting, Tayshaun is sitting out at the moment, but John really decided to go with LT in this situation.
Pardon takes them on, got by 2 of them and came up with a finish as well. It's season high for Derek Pardon tonight. 26 on 12 of 13 from the field and 9 rebounds. A reasonable addition for our player of the game.
92%.
Is Corey Webster working on Liafa, couldn't get it done, but draws the foul and he's off to the free throw line.
We look at the Amy replay, and this is a mismatch. The help came over a little bit late. Should have been a flop warning on Ty Webster then, but they're going to find Derek Pardon on these rolls, and he's either going to make a shot himself, Liam, or he's going to find the open man.
Timeout called. We've got 2:49 to play. It's New Zealand 86, Perth 82. Barry Brown's going to have to find some energy from somewhere. Here we are on a Tuesday night. He's going to have to back up on Thursday night against Melbourne, back in New Zealand, and then on Sunday against the Cairns Taipans.
Jeez, they have a really tough, hectic schedule, the Breakers. I don't know, part of me just looks at this team and thinks they love it.
Yep.
They love it. Bring the tough games, bring the tough schedule, harden up before the playoffs. They're going for a championship tilt.
They got that much depth. They're deep, and they'd much rather play than practice. I've yet to meet a player that would rather practice all week than play games. So you hop on a plane, you go to the next venue, at least they're going back home. So I'm backing the Breakers in. They got enough games up their sleeve that they can't really, can they finish third? Or is top 2 is pretty much locked in?
No, they can
still finish third. Cairns can still catch them, but no, they're traveling nicely.
So with this hectic schedule that is ahead of the New Zealand Breakers, 3 games this week. Barry Brown's back out there now, but they might have to at least extend the rotation because we rarely see Sam Timmins and Dan Fotu, and Cam Glidden and Vodanovic used sparingly tonight. But in a hectic schedule, you would think that some of those players are going to see extra minutes.
Fascinated to see what kind of approach Barry Brown Jr. brings at the offensive end, checking back into the game. Because the ball moved without him on the floor these last couple of minutes, and the Breakers got back in front. He's back out there now. Abercrombie takes a rest.
Let's go to Greg Hire courtside.
Yeah, very interesting timeout for John, really. He was imploring his guys to be extremely aggressive on the glass, or even trying to be aggressive and get the ball. They've only got 2 fouls up until this fourth quarter, so he was being really aggressive in that regard.
Here's Derek Pardon. They haven't been able to contain him all night. He beats Liafa on the other wing. Step back triple is off the mark. Pardon got into the back of his opponent, according to the referee. So he will pick up the foul, going to be his second personal.
This is the dilemma that Modi Morrow has with Barry Brown. He's obviously a 20-point scorer, and a lot of those points come just off of just one-on-one brilliance, right? So you live with it. You can't always be critical of a guy if the shot's not going in, because that's who Barry Brown is, and he can blow a game open late.
I hear you. What you need to do is find him when he's open on the arc like he was right there. An extra pass from Liafa. And he had the 3rd leading scorer in the league ready to catch and fire.
Manic to the free throw line, and with Hungry Jack's NBL, you can whopper your way to LA, grab any large burger meal at Hungry Jack's and enter your receipt code to win 4 tickets, flights, spending money and accommodation will get you to a basketball game in the US as well. hungryjacks.com.au/WhopperLA. Get involved. What a prize. Some great competitions running in the Hungry Jacks NBL. And a great game unfolding here as well. The Breakers by 1. Little over 2 minutes out from full time here. Barry Brown pushes Manick away. Pass was a slow one. Travers got a piece of it. Will McDowell wide for the 3. Off the mark. Chance for the Wildcats to retake the lead, and Bryce Cotton has possession. Travers goes down after colliding with Brantley, and now we've got free throws to come. More free throws for the Wildcats.
Jarrell Brantley, Bryce Cotton has his back to the basket. He's 35 feet away from the hoop, and you're over-aggressive. Now you put him to the line. This is when you need foul discipline. Luke Travers looks like he's rolled an ankle. Hopefully he's okay.
Wildcats have taken just 7 free throws at 3/4 time. And these are going to be 19 and 20 for them. And the Perth Wildcats have put themselves back in front with 1:53 to play.
Enormous moment right here in the context of Perth's season.
Yep. 7th on the ladder, 10 and 10. If they win, they go 5th. If they lose, they go 8th. Wow.
Harsh.
Now, obviously, still plenty of water to go under the bridge between now and when the playoffs get locked in. But a win over a top 2 team right here could be massive for them. Yes, it'll vault them up the standings for right now, but the confidence it will give them, the enthusiasm it'll give the Red Army. A big win like this inside the jungle. Can they execute down the stretch? Can they keep getting stops? Can they get defensive rebounds like they've struggled to get all season? And can Bryce Cotton, after having a tough night at the office, come up with the big plays in the big moments?
Well, I think he can. There you see the Breakers' next 5 home games. Next 5 games, I should say. As I mentioned, got to host Melbourne on Thursday night. Then they host Cairns on Sunday. Got a home game against Illawarra following that. Then the Kings away. Then Brisbane away. Then they host Melbourne again, and they finish in Wollongong. The New Zealand Breakers for their last game. So it's so tight.
Last 2 minutes, automatic delay.
And for the Perth Wildcats, well, they've beaten Cairns twice already this year, and Big, the 3rd place team. They've already beaten the Breakers, the 2nd place team. So I'll be thinking our best is good enough. But can they get there in a good spot? Isley Arthur back to Barry Brown. Breakers down 1. Brown wants to go solo here. Takes on Bryce Cotton to the baseline, can't convert.
Barry Brown tried to get the mismatch when he saw Derek Pardon was being guarded by Corey Webster, but it took too long. They reshifted, and then he ends up taking a very difficult shot.
Now he's got the mismatch of his own.
Takes on Pardon, fires. Couldn't get it to go. Brantley grabs the rebound. Number 6 for him to go with his 13 points and a chance for the Breakers. Although the pass for Pardon off the money. Corey Webster gets after it.
Back-to-back Barry Brown miscues. Now, where does Perth go for this bucket, Liam?
Corey Webster puts it on the deck. Thought about taking them on. Manick did well to retrieve the pass there. Back to Corey Webster. Now Cotton gets involved. It's appeared to be contact, no whistle, but he gets it done nonetheless. And Bryce Cotton has 14 points in the game, including 7 here in the final.
I heard your question, Damon, but it went without saying.
3-point buffer. Pardon did well to reel that in under pressure. Then Wade out of the points. Chases after his own rebound. Look at the hustle for the loose ball. Sees it on the line almost. Deshaun Thomas leads the charge. Travers flushes the 2. And the Perth Wildcats fans are in a frenzy. They lead by 5 inside 30 seconds.
This is what I'm talking about. The Red Army going nuts inside the jungle. As the Wildcats get on the deck, all kinds of hustle in a big moment. Out in transition, and they're up by 5.
9-2 in the last 3.5 minutes here. And Deshaun Thomas leads the charge. Feeds Travers, who's now into double figures as well. So they've got 6 players in double figures and 7 players who haven't scored. As we go courtside to Greg Hire.
You're exactly right. 11,668 Red Army fans are on their feet. So Atlantis not only have seen it this season, but in the last couple of years, they've been starved of success. And what they love or they embrace is passion. And that's exactly what's shown there. Guys diving on loose balls, getting that extra possession, and a Luke Travers leak out, looking like myself in my heyday. But to be completely honest, that's what they need to thrive off. Massive context of the play right there. And if they can bring it home, a huge game, as you guys have mentioned, in resolved standings.
And at the other end of the floor, it's been a little clunky for the Breakers as they execute down the stretch. The ball's been in Barry Brown's hands, not in Will McDowell-White's hands, and they haven't been coming up with good looks.
And that's what we talk about down the stretch in close games. Teams that can be execute and be efficient, and the Breakers have had multiple bad possessions, which have caused runouts and just bad shots just lead to just bad transitional defense. So Perth now, it's going to be hard for them to lose this game with 26 seconds to go. Obviously, it's still a game, but they have all the momentum.
Great job by the Perth faithful as well. 11,668 on a Tuesday night, where their team has had an average season, 10-10, 4-4 at home. Barry Brown for the triple, can't connect. Pardon, the offensive rebound. Will McDowell-White for the three is off the mark. Pardon kept it alive and added another two. He's got a double-double going here, Derek Pardon, with a season-high score. 11 boards to go with his 26 points.
Beautiful play drawn up by Modi Mayor. They got a wide open look for Barry Brown Jr. Two misses open on the arc.
Timeout, Perth.
Back 28 now for Pardon as John really calls timeout with less than 17 seconds to play, and the margin is just 3.
All you have to do now, get the ball in, knock down free throws. Just that simple, and New Zealand should not be able to catch it. Everybody on the free throw, everybody on the court for Perth should be able to shoot free throws. You got your 3 guards out there. You got Tayshaun, who's been just having a sensational game today. Tayshaun sitting on 22 and 10 with 3 dimes. Incredible game by him.
Derek Pardon, what an outstanding performance this has been. 28 on 13 of 15 from the field. 11 boards. Just outstanding work for him. And we can't rule out OT at this stage either with this scoreline at the moment. Wildcats have played 2 overtime games this year, lost both. New Zealand have played 1 overtime game this year and came up short against Melbourne in the opening round. So we've had all 10 teams involved in overtime games. And you see the Wildcats, well, their next 5 games as well. Home against Adelaide, home against Sydney, and then off to the Phoenix for the Illawarra and Tasmania games. And they finish with home games against Cairns and Sydney is their final game.
Brantley and Leafa both have 4 personals. Leafa's been taken out, Brantley's still in.
They foul quickly. Abercrombie does the job, his 3rd personal. So free throws to come here for Tashawn Thomas, who's 4 of 5 from the free throw line tonight, and 67% on the season.
Good place to be. The game Tayshaun's having, he deserves to put these 2 in and put some icing on this cake.
.22 points for Tashawn Thomas. Been terrific. The season average is 12, so that gives you an indication of how good he's been. 10 boards as well, 3 assists.
No timeouts for the Breakers. They're going to have to grab it and go.
It's not my first rodeo. Not my first rodeo.
That's an understatement.
Barry Brown is trying to put Tayshaun off by had a little conversation with him. Mike Lader's going, hey, we don't do that over here.
And Thomas off the mark with the back end, so it's a 4-point spread. Time running out for Barry Brown and the Breakers. He's off the mark. Pardon couldn't keep it alive. Manick has it. Perth are going to escape here. They foul Travers. And he will walk to the free throw line for the first time in the game. And a 77% free throw shooter this season.
Big, big win for the Wildcats.
That ladder just got a hell of a lot more interesting, Case.
Well, it was going to be one way or the other tonight for the Perth Wildcats. And 7th coming into the game have been as high as 2nd on the ladder earlier in the season. They burst out of the blocks, won their first 3 games with 3-1 early in the season in the 2nd position. And they get a 5-point advantage here as Brown goes coast to coast, looking to add another 2, and does, draws a whistle, so a chance at a 3-point play. It's all academic. In fact, is it over? Full time. The Perth Wildcats have come back after being 5 down at 3/4 time and prevailed here to win it by 3, 93-90, and vaults them from 7th to 5th on the ladder.
Incredible, incredible win. Perth showed all kinds of resiliency. They got off to a great start, high energy. They withstood a New Zealand run, and they hung in late, and they did all the little things. They was rebounding big games by Tayshaun and Brady Manick. And just when the game was there in the balance, they moved the ball. Bryce was off the ball limb and cut. Didn't just stand around waiting. Cut off the ball, got a nice pass. That was the lead, and they never relinquished it.
6 guys in double figures, the starting unit plus Luke Travers, and they just came up with the big plays in the big moments. An outstanding offensive performance in that final quarter.
Let's get courtside for some reaction with Greg Heyer, who has our Footlocker player of the game, to Sean Thomas.
What a game we had by this gentleman, 23 and 10, our Footlocker player of the game, to Sean Thomas. Relief, down by 5. How was it out to bring out the end of that game?
Man, it feels good. You know, we stayed together. That's one thing I feel like we've been struggling with all years when they come back and not giving up. But we stayed together as a team and kept fighting and pulled it off. I'm just proud of these guys, man.
Momentum's an incredible thing. You play the next 6 or 7 teams against playoff battle teams. What does it feel like to get a little bit of momentum heading into the playoffs?
It's good. It's just the first step. You know, we've been talking about we had 8 games left, so, you know, we just got to try to build on this and move on to the next. We can't celebrate too much on this one.
Tonight, 11,688 Red Army fans stood up. I saw you get up on their feet. What did it feel like to have them behind you?
I needed them. I told BC coming out of the timeout, we need the fans. So I was like, next time we get a big play, I'm going to try to turn them up. So as soon as we got to stop, I was just trying to get them going and help us out.
And obviously, I know you got a little kid at home, a little message at home to say, Footlocker player of the game, some shoes. What do you want, some J's?
Probably get a little man some J's and get wife some J's too. So, you know, that they don't really ask for much, so just taking care of them with that money. So that's all I can ask for.
Congratulations, mate. Well done.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Footlocker player of the game, great supporters. Footlocker, $250 voucher going the way up to Sean Thomas. And he was big when they needed someone to produce. He's top 10 in the league in offensive rebounding, and tonight he finishes with 23 and 10.
Started off the game aggressive, getting on the glass. He always has a nice offensive little package, nice touch, nice mid-range game, putting the ball on the floor, getting to the rack, but it's those rebounds, it's that extra possessions he's giving. Great passes, good interior cohesion they had today between Brady and Tayshaun, and that's what Perth needs to go with the potent backcourt they have.
That's what they're going to need. If they're going to win these big games down the stretch and get into the playoffs, they're going to need Sean Thomas playing at this level. Brady Manick, he had 15 points. They're going to need that from him. Those 2 guys came to the party tonight.
They did a great job, and the Perth Wildcats have escaped here with a 3-point victory. Down 5 at 3/4 time. They win it 93-90 over the New Zealand Breakers. And we'll be back to wrap it up right after this. Round 15 of the Hungry Jacks NBL has been a wild ride on a Tuesday night. 2 games decided by just 3 points. Tasmania getting the better of Illawarra earlier, and the Perth Wildcats coming from 5 down at three-quarter time to win by 3 over the New Zealand Breakers. That was some sort of game.
What a spectacle that was. We watching some desperate teams playing some desperate basketball, and it was good to see Perth play the full 40 minutes and get contributions from their imports. And John really shortened the rotations, Liam. He shortened his bench, and you got to dance with who brought you.
He shortened it big time. Really only 6 guys played for the Wildcats in this one. Their starting unit plus Luke Travers, they all played 22 minutes or more. I mean, it is playoff time essentially. Right now, the rotation got shortened and they executed at both ends of the floor in a big way down the stretch.
Good job by the Wildcats. They did not lose the rebound count. They didn't win it, but they didn't lose it, which is a positive for them because Derek Pardon put on a show. 28 points, a season high, and 12 boards. It was virtually unstoppable.
This is a man among boys, and that's not being disrespectful to the Perth Bigs because they obviously had awesome games, but Derek Pardon is the most relentless guy in the league with his effort, and being spoon-fed by a great point guard on Will McDowell-White. New Zealand's not going anywhere. They might have dropped down the ladder, but they will be there in the end.
We should also mention that the Wildcats had 7 turnovers at halftime and finished with 9. They took good care of the ball, and that helped them get across the line here. They moved from 7th to 5th on the ladder. Breakers moved from 2nd to 3rd, but have still got plenty more to say in this one. Trust you've enjoyed our coverage tonight. On behalf of all our team, I'm John Casey. We'll see you again soon here in the Hungry Jacks NBL.
Four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, and 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4.